At the end of August, ŠKODA unveiled its 7-seater Vision 7S concept. ŠKODA thus provides the first specific outlook on the brand new design language. From now on, ŠKODA will be not only simply clever but also modern solid. This new design language combines robustness, functionality and authenticity. With the new design language, there will be also a new corporate identity, which is the most radical change in 30 years, with a new picture mark and word mark coming up in the next few months and years. Both the new design language and corporate identity are the topics for this episode of Simply Clever podcast, and my honorable guest is Oliver Stefani, head of ŠKODA Design, and later on Martin Jahn, board member for sales and marketing at ŠKODA. With Oliver Stefani, head of ŠKODA Design, we visited Secret Photo Studio, and standing right next to the Vision 7S concept, we point out some of its key design elements. This is basically the first time we can see the new modern solid design language. So what can you tell me about it? Because for me, it's quite different from what we saw on previous ŠKODA models.
Yes, it's a totally new design direction that we choose here on this model and that we show you the first time. And we call it Modern Solid, yeah? And this Modern Solid strategy, design strategy, contains from three different pillars, strong pillars. One is solid, and we call this Modern Simplicity. Yeah? Mm-hmm. And when you look at the car, you know what I mean, yeah? I mean, all the solutions that we have is simpler, the better, yeah? If you look at the headlights, for instance, how everything is integrated, there's not too many elements on the car. It's really calm. And this you see on the side of the car, in the interior, simplicity is something that is really good because we think lots of cars are too busy, yeah? And we want to reduce this. The second is that we're talking about functionality. ŠKODA is great with functionality. You know, all the simply clever ideas, yeah? So we always have a lot of space, and also this shows the car very well, yeah? We have a 7-seater, we have a low loading height, yeah? Big compartment, lots of clever ideas, as I said before, yeah? So this is very important. And the third one is honesty, yeah? Authentic design, honest design, yeah? And when you look also on the front, that you can see, of course, we changed the front completely, but these typical ŠKODA lines, yeah, with this drop into the grille is still there, the power dome light's still there, and of course, we're also presenting now with this model the first time the ŠKODA lettering also on the front bonnet. Yeah. So this is in a few words, in a nutshell, this is the modern solid design strategy.
What I see is, as you've mentioned, like this solid, it's kind of robust. On the other hand, it's smooth. You know, everything fits together. It's going from one piece of design to another. It's really smooth.
Yeah. This is something. This also goes with the simplicity. And of course, we were looking at a lot of examples, yeah, when we developed the car. And one was always some kind of space capsule, yeah. Yeah. And the space capsule is very functional and very robust issue, yeah, but it's very smooth, you know. And this was also some kind of image that we used also on this car, yeah. Same with some helmets and stuff like this, where we have all this solid protective ideas, yeah.
Yeah. What is really interesting is the new T cluster, light cluster. So this is something we're really going to see on next ŠKODAs.
Let's see, yeah. But you know, I mean, today also we have this 4-eye design on our SUVs, yeah. You know this from the Karak, you saw this also from the Kodiaq. And now we move this to the next level, let's say, yeah. So we have this, what we call the tech band is here, where we have these polycarbonate in black, where we have all these, let's say, possibilities of having radars and cameras and leaders, you know. And we're connecting this with the day running light signature here, and also some ambient light that is sitting here. Which also picks up the idea of having this crystal face a little bit. And then we have very outside, to make the car really wide, we have these super nice shapes and the two lights on top of each other. So, and this creates the T-shaped light, and we found the same solution also on the rear, yeah? So it's also big, let's say, coherence between the front and rear on this, and this is a brand new theme for ŠKODA. And then we connect this again, so we have a very simple graphical element that everybody can draw and everyone can understand. It's not complicated, the front, and this is the secret.
So this line is not supposed to be only a design feature, but it will somehow work, somehow like light the way of
This
the car.
one here?
Or, yeah.
Yeah, it's some kind of ambient light on the front. Yeah, so we want to concentrate on this one. This is the main light function. Yeah, and this is an ambient light, like we have this also in the interior. Yeah?
Oh, okay. One more thing, and this is probably like too much detail, but what is the red thing down there?
Good question. Good question. So in the whole color concept, yeah, we were saying, okay, we want to be also very fresh and very modern. That's why we choose this super nice color and a matte finish, this green. And then we were contrasting this with this gray parts here that comes from sustainable materials, yeah. And then we said, like, if you look, for instance, in sneakers today, yeah. So always you find some kind of accent color, yeah. And we choose the orange color, and you have this here, you have this on the rear, you have also you will see this on the wheels, and you see this also on the lifers. So that makes it a bit more modern and a bit more lively.
To pop up a little bit from this smooth, slick silhouette of the car.
Yeah.
You've mentioned the sustainability. I really like that because on first sight you can see, this design with these small dots. Like for me, it makes the idea of like being made from some recycled materials.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's the idea. Yeah. So we want to use this very strongly at ŠKODA to go more in this kind of direction. That's why we decided to move this, to show this here on the front. You see this on the wheel arches on the side, and also we have some areas in the interior where we want to move this.
Let's talk about a silhouette of the car because it's kind of a huge car. It's quite spacious in the inside, and still it seems kind of like sporty a little bit. The roof is kind of sloping down. I guess that's because of the efficiency of the car.
Okay. In the design process, Wojtek, we were discussing. So what kind of character we want to give to the car? So that also it looks innovative. Yeah. So what we decided is to say to separate the car a little bit, yeah. So if you just look at the body, you see again the simplicity in this, yeah, the purity in this, yeah. You mentioned the shoulders, yeah, are very nice, yeah. So the shoulders are really, we tried to get the shoulders as flat as possible or upright as possible, yeah, so that they really create some kind of almost like a football player, some kind of shoulder, yeah, here on the front. Do we connect this, yeah? So this is the robust or solid, very solid one. And then, of course, for electric car, efficiency and range is very important. For instance, that's why we decided, ŠKODA always has squarish wheel arches. On the Kodiaq, we have this. We decided to have round openings because when we close this, it's much better for the aerodynamics. And the same with the roof. Yeah? So we made the roof really sleek and elegant. Yeah? One arch dropping down on the rear, especially also here on the spoiler, we dropped this even more down. So to contrast this roof with the body, and this gives some kind of, let's say, very nice experience, yeah, and a totally different feeling. And this makes the car not as big, as it might, you might think about it. It's a really protective part, elegant cabin, and this together is quite cool, yeah.
It was interesting to see some reactions on the first sketches ŠKODA published a few days ago. Everybody was, cheering on because it's a new small car, and on the other hand, it's a 7-seater. So I guess you were able to somehow mix these two things together. It doesn't seem that robust, and yet it is a huge car.
Yeah, it also basically it is a family car. Yeah, so the Kodiaq has 7 seats. Yeah, and this also has 7 seats. So the size-wise is not so much of a difference. Yeah, and when you look also in the interior, you will see that this 7-seater. So it's 6 + 1 because it's a family car, and we put the family issue really in the center, which this baby seat. We'll probably talk later about this.
Yeah. We will probably mention the doors too, because this concept car has these kind of suicide doors. Why is that? Why do designers love that much?
The idea with the suicide doors is always when we open this on a show, we have much better openings so everybody can see the interior. Yeah? So it's just a way to attract more people to the interior, yeah? And it looks very cool, yeah, stuff like this,
Yeah. it's not that often in the production, but it looks cool. Yeah.
Yeah, for the show, I like it because we have the glass roof, which we also have on the Enyaq Coupe. There's a lot of sunlight in there, and when you open this, it shows really the space, and everybody can experience the whole interior at the same point. Yeah, so the whole theme is visible. Yeah, that is important to us.
One more question: why is it a 7-seater? For me, it's as we talked about the design, for example, of Enyaq. It's a new design language, not only in the exterior, but also in the interior. You can work with the space of the car in a different way than with ICEs. So was that the idea, that you can show that you can fit 7 seats into this place and that it's flexible and more spacious, maybe?
Well, the idea is about really having this family car, yeah? Top of the line family car. And again, I just can say it's a bit related to the Kodiaq also being a 7-seater, and we transferred this into the electro world, we can say. Yeah?
How do we call that? What category is it actually? It's an SUV or?
It's modern solid. I don't know how we want to call this. It's definitely not a pure SUV. Yeah? It's not an MPV. Yeah? It's exactly what we had in mind, that we try to find something in between. Yeah. So, I mean, family is very positive, very positive. Everybody wants to have a family, and this is super nice. But we don't want to have this super heavy SUV, yeah, because that's maybe also not state of the art and not really what the time is about, you know. So this combination, I think, maybe is something new. Yeah.
I will follow up with the sustainable materials, because we talk about it on the exterior, but we can see it quite a lot in the inside. If I'm not mistaken, the floor of the car is recycled, basically, or made out of recycled materials.
Yeah, that's also the idea, that we use in these areas some more recycled materials. So actually, when you look at the door, yeah, we're going from, let's say, more expensive materials a little bit more down, you know. So this is very nice. We have the cross stitching here. We have the super nice surface here. We have also this, let's say, transparent ideas here with some functionality where we use the lights, you know. And then we have this rubber, yeah? This rubber parts here on the bottom, which is also on the floor, which I think also adds to this explore more idea, yeah, that we have for this car.
I'm really curious about the screens, because I guess it's some kind of HMI that you don't need a physical handle, but you will somehow control the car with the screen?
No, the opener sits behind here, yeah. Okay. So in this, always on this screen, we will guide the customer a little bit, yeah. So we have different functions that we can show here, yeah.
Yeah, but we will somehow interact with the car through these.
Yeah.
These. So how do you feel inside? Like it looks spacious, kind of.
It is spacious, you know. If you look in here and you see the seat, you know, it's very tight. Yeah, you have the glass roof. Does a really big job, you know, and you can see the front screen, which also what we want to do, because you know that this car has 2 different modes. Yeah? So one is the driving mode, like this, you know, and then we have a relax mode when you're charging, and then the seats moving back, that shivel a bit outside, and the screen in the front moves from vertical to horizontal, so everybody can see this quite nicely. It's a very good idea, you know? So and this everything fits and pays to this family idea, you know.
Yeah, so it kind of makes somehow modern living room.
Yeah, a little bit. It's a family room, you know.
With a little baby.
Yes, yeah. So this is person number 7. Yeah. So we have these 4 plus the 2 in the back seats, and then we thought the best and the safest place for a baby is here, in the second row, facing with the back to the front, you know. And everybody can play and interact with the child. Yeah? That's great. And we have a baby camera, so we can picture also, or we can let's say have this picture also in the front screen, so also whoever's driving, you know, the grandmother or the mother, yeah, so they can see the child, you know.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, full of ideas.
When we look at the whole car, what was the first idea you came up with, like the original feature you built on?
That's a good question, because if I remember right, I think one of the first things we found was the front line. Yeah? The front line that we said, okay, we don't do any grille anymore. Yeah? We integrate everything under this surface, and we concentrate just a few lines, but still we have the Škoda impression, again, with this power dome, with the horizontal line, with the drop-in, with the Škoda lettering. I think this was the first part where we were really sure about that we want to develop in this direction, because even if you take everything else away, it's still Škoda, and this was really convincing.
If you turn off the lights, you have to see the Škoda shape and feel that it's Škoda.
Even if you put a cover on this, you probably will say, hey, it's a Škoda, and this was great.
Nice. And the very last questions, when we gonna see at least some of these design features on some new model?
This is a tricky question. I can just say soon.
Soon, okay.
Okay?
Yeah, it has to be
I can't say at the moment.
Okay, Oliver, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure. Okay, thank you very much, Wojtek.
Yeah. As I mentioned at the very beginning of this episode, Škoda presented the new design language and also new corporate identity. The topic for Martin Jahn, board member for sales and marketing at Škoda. You run the most radical identity change in the recent 30 years of history of the brand. Can you maybe explain why is it so radical, why we say it's such a huge change?
Automotive industry is going through a big transformation. We are moving towards electric and digital mobility. And for this new phase, we also need a radical change of image. For Škoda, it comes at the right time. We had our first electric vehicle, Enyaq, very successfully launched to the market. But now we see that for the next phase, we need to bring something more modern, something more contemporary, more up-to-date. And therefore, we have decided to change the whole brand, to supercharge the brand and uplift it a little bit. So we are changing everything from car design to corporate identity, our logo, and we are also looking at new customer groups. So it's going to be modern, but you're still going to keep the Škoda heritage. Absolutely. Škoda is an automotive brand with extremely long tradition, over 125 years. And we want to use Škoda DNA. We want to use the elements that made Škoda strong for the future. So the logo, the design, our values, everything is based on Škoda DNA.
How it's going to affect the brand's not identity, but the values, let's say, because we're going to talk about the logo and so on, but let's talk first about this one.
Yeah, we updated both our vision and the values. Our new vision says we want to help the world live smarter, which basically says that we do not think we only produce and sell a car that takes you from A to B, but we want to create the whole ecosystem of car charging, of communication of the car with your ecosystem. Car can now do many things, can offer you some good values for suppliers, can help you deliver goods to your car, can communicate with your smart home and so on. So we now believe that we can really create something that will help our customers to live smarter. And in terms of our values, the three new values are human, simplifying and surprising, and they are based on the values that our customers know from the past. The human is based on human touch and basically says that we are a human brand, and that's what's differentiating Škoda from other brands. Yeah, we really want to be a human brand. Therefore, we focus on families, on people with active lifestyle. So human is the first most important value. Simplifying is based on simply clever. We want to bring things that the customer needs, everything he loves, but only those things that he needs. We do not need to bring any extra gadgets that are nice, but not so necessary for everyday life. And the last is surprising. This is our translation of value for money, because we want to still bring surprising value for money. And Škoda in this new setup will not be a cheap brand. We will not have cheap cars, but every Škoda should bring exceptional value for money, more value for money than by the other brands. So human, simplifying and surprising are the three new values of Škoda brand.
For me, I see there some kind of like building more personal relationship with the car, with the brand. As you've mentioned, we're gonna use the cars in kind of different way than until now.
Yeah, we also see that our customers are evolving. If I look at the last 30 years with Volkswagen Group, the first customers were seeking really, I would say, almost a cheap car. Yeah? Then you had people who were seeking value for money. And now we see a customer group which we call contemporary explorers. And those are people who want to explore life. We are not focusing on people who want cheap cars or who want prestige or who want the last and the latest technical gadget, but we just want to focus on people who are curious to explore life every day, who want to have fun.
Let's get to the visible part of the changes. There's not only the new design language, the modern solid design language, but also new logo and let's say word mark of Škoda, which is going to be more visible more and more in the future.
I would start with the logo. Of course, our logo has a long heritage, and Škoda was changing the shape and also the usage of the picture logo and world logo. And when we look back at history, when Laurin and Clement, which was the original name of the company, became part of Škoda Holding in 1925, the first logo was also a world logo. And then they moved to a picture logo. But if you look at our models of the cars in the 30s, but also in the 70s, they were sometimes using just the word logo on the bonnet, and we want to go back to this because we see that using the word logo on the bonnet is very nice from design point of view. It looks really good, and Škoda put the word logo on the back of the car couple of years ago, and it was very well accepted. I think it looks really cool and makes the look of the car from behind very nice. And we decided to go for the same thing also on the bonnet, and we decided to completely upgrade the world logo to make it more international and more unique. We have in this new world logo, we have actually 3 specific letters. The K and A was specifically developed for us, and also the S with the Czech specific hook, which makes the difference between the pronunciation of S to Eš, Škoda to Škoda, as it should sound correctly in Czech. And we wanted to keep this hook, but to make it more harmonious, we put it basically in the horizontal upper part of S, and it's sort of a simply clever solution, and I think it looks really cool, and we are very happy about this. Also, I have to say that it looks better and better. The more you look at it, the more you like it, and that's good in design elements, because if you like something at the first sight, then sometimes later on it becomes obsolete and not so nice. But when you have to think about it a little bit and it gets better and better, that's what you want to achieve. And I think this is the case of the world logo. And the picture logo we also keep. We translated it into simple 2D because we will be using it more and more in digital space. So the picture logo basically stays with us. Also on the car, on the wheel hubs, in the infotainment, you will see it. But again, on the front and back of the car, we will use the new world logo.
I have to say I really like the small detail, as you mentioned, the Czech expression háček, the current. It's a small detail, and me as a Czech patriot, I have to say I'm really glad that it stayed there, because I can imagine the problems, let's say, with pronunciation, like Škoda and Škoda. So I really like the detail. I also like the new picture mark, the new logo. It kind of reminds me the old ones from 90s. So it's again part of the heritage and being a little bit modern for the 2D pictures.
Yeah, because in the 80s, 90s, the logos were mostly 2D. And then to make it look better and more valuable, many of the brands were translating the logos into 3D. And now people are going again, or brands are going again to 2D because it looks much better in the digital, in your smart device, in internet. So you just follow this trend. That's absolutely correct.
Yeah. And there's going to be also new colors for Škoda Identity.
Yes, for the new age, we need new colors. We stay with green because green defines Škoda, and we are the green brand, which we want to keep. We have selected 2 shades of green, the mint green and emerald green, which fit very nicely together. It will be a very nice combination of the logo on the background of in one color on the background of the other shade of green, and it allows us for very nice interpretation in digital and in print. So we like these 2 colors very much. They are very harmonious, very modern, and also fit to the life of the contemporary explorer. So we are quite happy about the new corporate design.
Let's get a little bit back to the concept which was presented at the end of August, the Vision 7S. It's full electric, and not only it's presenting the new design language, but you also unveiled that you will be accelerating the e-campaign.
We noticed that the switch to electric mobility is much faster in Europe than we originally thought, and also we see some non-European countries such as India to go much faster towards electric, and therefore we decided to put more electric models into our portfolio and also to introduce them faster. Last year we said that we will bring 3 additional electric cars until 2030. Now we see that we will bring 3 additional cars until 2026, and until 2030 there will be even more electric models.
Yeah. I have to say, I'm really looking forward to seeing the Vision 7S in real life. So good luck with that.
No, it's really a very exciting car. It's a car which is called 7S because it has 7 seats, and one of them is the middle seat for a child, which again stresses our commitment to the family, and it again shows innovative approach. And I think it's a car that's really beautiful from the outside, that really brings very modern design, because as you know, our successful model ENIAC is still sort of a mixture between a very modern and classical car. Still has the grille, which you do not see in the Model 7S, and it was the right decision for the first electric car to have some sort of a transition between old and new design, but the new generation of electric cars can be fully modern, fully futuristic, and that's where our design is aiming.
Okay, Mr. Jahn, thank you very much for the interview.
Thank you very much.
ŠKODA. Simply clever.